Moving to our first subject, we got the Bears. Like I said, the Saints losing to the Bears. No, wait. The Saints beating the Bears in OT. I don't know. I had so many. The range of emotions for me during this game was insane. I was one way. I was like, oh, here we go, we're back, and then it was like, oh, this season stinks. This team stinks. We can't get anything going. Then we get back in, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. And even at the end of the game, I'm still thinking we're 5-3. Not great. With the Packers losing also, so it kind of we're not falling behind. It would have been nice to gain a little bit of ground there, but at least we didn't lose ground per se. But Matt, what was your thoughts on some of the? First of all, I need to know what was Matt Nagy thinking running the ball when we were just trying to get in field goal range with not a lot of time left? That was one of the most baffling calls I've seen him make almost ever with the Bears.
The running game has been we all know what it's been in Chicago. Everyone's been pounding the table, beating their chest to get the running game going, get the ball to David Montgomery, stop giving it to Cordero Patterson. When he calls a run, though, too, it's like he called the one and it worked out. I don't know how they got a 3rd and 8 conversion on a run play.
So
David Montgomery broke
they
2
missed
tackles to convert. He broke 2 of them to convert a 3rd and 8 that he ran. I don't know what the hell that play call is. I'm sorry, I just don't get it anymore. And
it's like we don't like to make the running plays happen when we need them, but then when we actually need to throw the ball, it's like, oh, let's make a running play here.
He never throws. It just never seems like he throws when there's, I don't know. The rhythm is always off.
It's like it's all backwards.
It does. It always feels like he's trying to outsmart everybody. He's like, okay, if they think I should pass, I'm going to run here. If they think I should run, I'm going to pass here. That's fine to mix it up and do that occasionally, keep the defense on the toes a little bit. You can't run a scheme on that, though. And it's just going to be a little bit more common sense mixed in with some creativity, in my opinion.
Yeah, but, it's a little more. I don't know. Stop. It's like he's overthinking the game.
Yeah. A lot of times, like I said, it feels like he has to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, let's just make the play does not need to be a trick
play. Make the easy play. Make the easy call. And some of his the play or use a timeout. On the field goal. What was he doing there? The kicker was already rattled. They got moved back 5 yards from the when Lutz took a delay of game. I think Peyton was yelling for the kickball to get
so let's let them calm down.
Come in. So yeah, exactly. What are you doing calling a timeout? Save that timeout. You might need it when he blows this kick. He's already rattled. Force him to kick. Don't let him recoup. Like, what was that?
It's like they were trying.
I don't know.
It was almost like they were trying to lose this game, and it was getting to be a little outrageous that they weren't even in overtime because it was just like.
How bad's the offensive line though, too?
Oh well, and then
in all honesty,
2 players, Bobby Massey, and then his backup came.
Massey stinks.
But I know, but still.
I know you don't want to lose starters, obviously, but man, that's just.
But if he's not very good, his backup can't be very good.
Yeah, well, bingo.
You know what I mean?
You're right, and that shows.
Trade deadline is Tuesday. The Bears have kind of talked about maybe making a move. Hopefully they go for a guard. Not really sure what they're gonna do. I wouldn't know who to even say that they would go after. But hopefully they make some improvements there. Boomy, you got something to say?
Yeah, man, I just kind of want to throw this out to you guys. A lot of talk on social media is going back to Mitch, and I know we've discussed this many times. And you look at Foles from today, 28
that Nick Foles made.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, comes down to, like you said, the offensive line is terrible. Yeah, I mean, Nick Foles is not the savior, and I think everybody knew that.
That's the problem.
Do you start looking at maybe going back to Mitch, or where do you sit at on that?
Maybe. I'm not saying not to or whatever, but I think the biggest problem is we wanted Nick Foles to be the savior. And guess what? Maybe we just have 2 bad quarterbacks. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Mitch is – I don't know. I just keep I keep hearing all this. Well, what if Mitch played? What if this and that? Like, what if? I mean, what do you mean? I don't know. I just don't think that going back to him is going to fix anything. I think the biggest problem is we have no quarterback going for the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I think the problem is we have 2 bad quarterbacks.
I don't think you could go to Mitch. I think the locker room would just fall apart at some point.
Yeah.
Where it's, I think a lot of people showed how they felt about Mitch when
People showed their
Foles
alliances.
and it was like, the playbook's opening up and this and that and the other. Yeah, well, you're also not going to be able to scramble and say, catch a first down on a run play when Foles has an open lane but doesn't have the foot speed to turn the corner. So, those things that you give up to. I don't think it's the time to go back to Mitch. I think that's the kind of the wave the white flag. The only thing I could see is maybe if you get a team that would maybe part with a conditional 7th rounder for Mitch, at this point, because he's going to walk. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
You're not going to re-sign him. So you might as well, if somebody's going to take maybe the Patriots. They're 2-5 now, and Cam Newton's proven that he's not really. Maybe just open up the quarterback, see what you got. It's a shit year. It's a throwaway year for Belichick anyway, maybe. And I'm not saying that that's, anything that is likely, but, I can see a move like that where it's just like, all right, who cares about this year? Let's just start seeing what we got in some of these guys like Stidham, and we'll throw Trubisky in the mix, and, what you got in Newton now. So, I don't know. I think there's maybe some value somewhere that somebody might want to see what they've got in him and maybe get at him prior to free agency. Let's not forget he was a unanimous first round selection, no matter where he was going to be taken in that draft. So think about it. The only team that saw talent in him. You know what I mean? So
right, or a team that's like super injury plagued right now, like a team like the Cowboys that is throwing a 1AA guy out there. There's a couple teams like that.
Who's got a chance to win a division still? Dallas does. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. And frankly, you'd rather start Mitch than this guy tonight. And not that this guy's been, terrible as Danucci or whatever his name. They're not moving the ball down the field. It's not something that they're able to do with the offense that they have. Mitch in the Dallas, again, they don't have a good offensive line. You saw what Mitch did with a good offensive line 2 years ago. He can play plays. He can get the ball down the field at times. It's not like he was, setting the world on fire or anything, but he came into 19 with some MVP buzz a little bit, and like as a dark horse candidate, which, that went to the wayside. I saw Boomy's little smirk there. That went to the wayside pretty early, but I don't know. I think there's talent there. Maybe see what you can get for him, and I don't know. I don't. At the end of the day, you guys
are still 5-3, and it's not a pretty 5-3, but like it's still 5-3, and you're
we play the Titans next week, who they're the good, not great. So we'll have to deal with that next Sunday.